Hey, what's going on again, everybody? John here with Knight and Shining Armor Paint Correction, Ceramic Coatings, and Detailing. Today we are reviewing Koch Chemie or Koch Chemie or Koch Chemie or whatever the hell this stuff is called. The name of the manufacturer. Maybe somebody in the comments section below can tell me how it's actually pronounced, but for the sake of the video, for any reviews on these products, we're going to call it Koch Chemie. Going to start off here. We have Adam's rubber mat and liner cleaner that's been soaking for a couple of minutes on these rear mats of this Ram 1500. Going to go ahead and drill brush them, go ahead and rinse them, and then we're going to blow dry the mats. And for time purposes, I have the video sped up. I cannot work this fast. I really wish I could work this fast. But we're going to go ahead and rinse the mats here, start to blow dry them, and even wipe them off. And then we'll start to apply the GummiFix. GummiFix is alcohol based. I would highly recommend doing it in a very well ventilated area, or maybe even with a paint respirator. The fumes from this stuff were pretty intense, to say the least. And I'm using the Flex handheld blower here. And after a couple of minutes of this, I decided maybe compressed air was a little bit better way to go to blow the water off these mats, since it's supposed to be a dry application. And using compressed air with a blowgun worked 10 times better. I know the instructions say that you can wipe this stuff on with a sponge or you can use a spray nozzle. And I didn't really feel like trying to do these giant large mats with a sponge, especially if you need to knock them back a little bit or wipe off any excess residue or flatten out any kind of high spots or anything. So I went ahead and put a spray nozzle in it. I figured it would speed things up a little bit. I really hope this stuff is as advertised. I really like the Adams rubber mat and liner protectant, but the big drawback with that product is you can only buy it in 16-ounce bottles. I know the instructions say you're supposed to let it dry on its own, but I have this giant fear of it not leveling out properly, or it does level out properly, but then it's too slick to be used on any kind of floor mats. Anybody that's ever put any kind of dressing or anything on OEM all-weather mats or Weathertech mats or Husky liners have found out that they are just slicker than snot if you use any kind of dressing. I know if you don't wipe off the Adams rubber mat and liner protectant, it will get just as slick as dressing, so you absolutely have to wipe it off. So I was kind of afraid that if I sprayed this stuff on here and I put it back in this truck and the customer got in it, they were going to feel like they were on a big sheet of ice, and I did not want that. And with some of these mats, it's a very tedious process to have to wipe this stuff out or to make sure it's level or whatever, which is the reason I sprayed it on in the first place, knowing that, you know, this might take a hot second to wipe all these down. Going to bring you in for a 50-50 shot here. The one on the left has been treated and protected, and it's much darker and richer than the one on the right. So far so good. Very impressive stuff. Then I got thinking about it. It says you can't use it as a wet application, but I figured, what the hell, let's try it. So now we're going to do the front mats, and they're still wet. They're not soaking wet, but they're still wet from being rinsed and hanging for about 10 minutes. They just weren't all the way dry. I'm going to spray this on liberally again, and this time I'm going to go grab a brush, kind of work the product in, and then I'm going to knock it down with a microfiber like I did before, and we'll see how they turn out. I did notice doing it as a wet application, the water really didn't mix in with the alcohol-based GummiFix. Kind of smeared around a little bit. The brush kind of took care of that, and once I knocked it down with a microfiber here, I didn't see any high spots or anything like that. It leveled out just fine. I did accidentally use or spray a little bit too much product, so I did use some compressed air to blow the excess out of the nooks and crannies and corners of the mat. So I went back over with the microfiber. I wasn't left with any puddles or anything like that, because that would almost for sure leave you a high spot or a shiny spot or some sort of indication that you used too much product. And before I forget to mention it, this stuff comes in 1 and 5 liter bottles. 1 liter is $29.99 and 5 liters is $129.99. I'll grab the camera off the tripod here and bring everybody in for a first person view. But so far so good with this stuff. I'm still torn whether I like it more than the Adams or not. It seemed to work out just fine using it as a wet application. I will take you guys outside. Once I got outside, I realized how much better the mats looked. If I had to give it a rating on the channel, it'd be 9 out of 10. Once again, my name is John. We are Knight in Shining Armor Paint Correction, Ceramic Coatings, and Detailing. See everybody in the next video.